Let's now get you some updates from the state of Israel, where the sitting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is back in the Tel Aviv court to take the stand again as a criminal defendant. Now, Netanyahu holds the record as the state of Israel's longest-serving prime minister, and with his trial resuming, he's of course become the first ever serving Israeli prime minister to take the stand as a criminal defendant. And just a short while back, Netanyahu in fact returned to the court for the second day of his testimony after he testified for 5 long hours on Tuesday. Now, what is interesting is that he has dismissed all of the corruption charges against him, terming them to be ridiculous in the court. He's also rejected the charges, saying that there is no corruption, no fraud that was committed by him or by his wife. He's also lashed out at the media, saying that much of the Israeli public, like him, is right-wing, but the media, he claims, is 98% on the other side. That is, it is not on his side in the state of Israel. Now, towards the end of his testimony, Netanyahu responded in the charge of receiving favorable coverage on the WION news website owned by his close friend, Shaul Ilovich, in exchange for easing the way for a telecoms merger that was sought by him. In particular, the prosecutors alleged that this scheme was agreed upon at a dinner in 2012, in which Netanyahu and his wife Sarah Netanyahu had hosted Ilovich. Netanyahu, for his part, argued that there was no such agreement, no bribery even after the dinner, and he also contended that WION at the time was extraordinarily adversarial against him, and that did not improve over the next period of time. Now, hundreds of protesters and onlookers, of course, gathered outside of the Tel Aviv courthouse on Tuesday. Many chanted for Netanyahu to be brought to justice. However, there were also some people who were supporting Netanyahu and called the allegations against Netanyahu to be false. Netanyahu faces charges of bribery, fraud and breach of public trust in 3 separate cases. In the first case, Netanyahu and his wife Sarah Netanyahu are accused of accepting more than $260,000 worth of goods, luxury goods such as cigars, for instance, jewelry and champagne from billionaire donors in exchange for political favors. The second case involves alleged attempts by the Prime Minister to reach a deal with publisher of a very popular Israeli daily for better news coverage of him by agreeing to weaken the status of a rival newspaper. While the third case is related to allegedly receiving favorable media coverage from the WION news site. And WION's correspondent from the state of Israel, Jody Cohen, has been tracking the story very closely for us and has sent us this report. Let's take a look.
Today is day 2 of Prime Minister Netanyahu testifying in his trial. The prosecution is accusing Netanyahu of fraud, breach of trust and bribery, although the court has already indicated that bribery will be hard to prove in their opinion. Netanyahu's defense is accusing the prosecution of fabricating a crime for simply seeking positive media coverage, something that all politicians do. They are suggesting that the cases against Netanyahu are lawfare and an attempt to oust the Prime Minister from his job. Now, after today's hearing, the defence is expected to continue their case from Monday and is expected to last several days. Then it will be the turn of the prosecution, and the hearing is expected to continue until the end of December. This is Jody Cohen for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.